Okay, so here we have the actual Revenant, and a lot of people will say that the base Revenant is probably one of the most dry classes in the game, without elite specialization. Um, a lot of other classes have been in the game, before there was elite specializations, but the Revenant kind of came out with elite specialization, which is Herald, because it came out during the Heart of Thorns, right? So a lot of people didn't like Revenant when it first came out until they actually got Herald, which is the elite specialization. Then the class kind of opened up, but it was described as kind of like a slow class. Now, there's a lot of things you can actually do with the regular Revenant, but to be honest with you guys, it's not as fun, and a lot of the times the elite specialization just offers a lot more to any of those things that they can do. But I will show you guys that here you have sword and axe combo, and I like to do stuff like the dwarf legendary stance. So they do have legendary stance as well, but so as you can see, they have the legendary assassin stance, the centaur stance, the demon stance, and the dwarf stance. Now let's go over the centaur stance. So the centaur stance is kind of like a healing type stance. Let me see if I can equip the staff actually. Okay, so I have a staff here. So let's just say I think when I auto attack, the staff drops even more healing stuff. I'm not 100% sure, but this is kind of a support Revenant would use this stance right here, this centaur stance. You're able to move this tablet, throw out heals, and explode the tablet. Oh, this is not the explosion, but this one right here removes conditions, right? Which is really cool. Then you have this, which is a projectile shield, I believe. So it's really cool. It says summons a protective barrier around the tablet that destroys enemies' projectiles. So you can protect your team, but you can't keep it up for long because it does drain your energy here. In combat, like I said, if you were a renegade, the cool thing is you could use the bow and you can shoot people and gain, your stuff up while you're actually using stuff like this, so you'll always be really high and you can manage it proper. You can explode the tablet. Boom. Now you have these little things on the floor that people can run over and heal themselves with, and you can actually, this is a really cool thing, you can kind of keep exploding it, and you can actually build, to annoy people like this in PvP. But in PvE, you don't really have to do that. You just keep it over the main team, and any boss that has any type of projectiles or something like that, you can protect them from. And also cleanse conditions, which is a very big deal. So Revenant is a very fun healer. Now, as far as defensive stuff, you have the dwarf stance, and this is cool because his the dwarf elite specialization reduces all damage taken by like 5 of your party members. Let me see if it'll hit this random person. It did. So as you can see, it's on this person for like 5 seconds, right? And then you can pop it again. You can actually get to a point where you can almost shuffle this and keep this up a lot of the time, and it's 50% reduced damage from conditions and everything. It's really dope. It's just really dope. And then also you have Vengeful Hammers, which is a 20% damage incoming reduce. And before, this skill actually used to be a pain because it used to be like 2 or 3 things down. So now you can keep this thing on for a very long time, and each one of those counts as a hit as well. So it's really cool. Each of those hammers that go by hit people. It's really cool, right? Then you have your chain, and this is a taunt. I guess you would use this in a scenario where, one of your teammates getting jumped or something from a mob, and you just want to get it off of them so they can live, that type of situation. And I believe the taunt does work in PvP as well, so you can be very annoying with this and actually save a lot of your teammates' lives. And here you have a stability stability road is what I like to call it. It may seem like it doesn't last long, but it makes a big difference if you're in a choke. Like, say if you're in a fractals or a PvP situation where everyone's AoEing stuff and you want to drag them around a corner, say if everyone's hiding here, and you just put it here, that way everyone can kind of like do their full damage without any interruptions whatsoever. And that's really what it's about. And look at your staff actually heals and takes away conditions, which is really dope. And your staff 3 actually blocks stuff. The staff is not bad. I don't like the attack animations. Let me see if I can actually show you. This is, I think you're immune to damage while you're actually in that, which is really cool. But let me show you the attacking on the staff. So every fourth or third attack or something like that, it puts these little lights on the ground, and you can actually have people run over these like this if you're dancing. And this is kind of what you should be doing if you're on a staff over to heal yourself. And as you can see, it's creating these things, and I'm running over and picking them up, and I believe they're healing me. Yeah, so that's just a really cool thing with the staff. Now you can use a hammer as well to do range, but I don't have a hammer on me sadly. But you can look up something like, you know, Herald hammer build, and it's really cool. It's kind of the equivalent of a longbow, but he's throwing, you know, spiritual hammers at people. That's what I'm gonna call them. He's throwing a hammer at them, but you still have your hammer in your hand. I guess Ronald McDonald's tired of attacking. Okay, so let's see if we can get out of combat so I can show you the other two really fast. I don't want this video to go on for too long. Okay, so here you have two other legendary stances, which is the assassin stance and the demon stance. Now the demon stance is your go-to for conditions, everything conditions. This is what you go to when you want to completely wreck something like a scourge or a necromancer, or if you're in a dungeon, you know, or a fractal that has, like, you know, one of those things where like the mobs give you conditions every time they hit you, or every time the mobs die they maybe explode and do a bunch of condition damage and stuff like that. You can put this on, and this actually protects your team as well as send conditions back. And as you can see, it gives you resistance, and it's really cool. And it's not as crazy as it was before. It was like 3 or 4 bars out. Now it's only 2, so you can have it on for quite a long time. And actually I believe this is a new change to the Revenant, and this is actually pretty cool. This makes things a little bit more manageable. Also, you can give people confusion. Let me kind of show you here. Hopefully we don't get wrecked by her, but things like her, you see I have 15 stacks on her, so the more she uses her stuff, the more it's gonna kind of hurt her. And actually she's done a lot of this damage to herself from attacking while that thing's on her. We can go right into this. Wow. And as you guys seen, we just literally almost made her kill herself. She did a lot of damage to herself. You heal yourself with the staff. And this isn't even a build. I'm just really just showing you guys what the stances and stuff do. So here you have another stance, which is the assassin stance. Now the cool thing about the assassin stance is it's exactly what it's supposed to be. Now this is, let me show you guys how people actually run this. And they actually, some people run double swords, but I like to run it with sword axe. And sword axe is more of a condition weapon, but I use it for everything. So let me show you the heal. You could do something like this, right? And then you can press your 3. And if you saw that, it actually put these little things, I don't really know what the hell they're called, but it put them around you, and it does extra damage for each hit. It's really cool. Let me switch here and heal so I don't actually die. Spam her with the condition. Oh my goodness. I feel like this is a lot different than it used to be. I feel like Revenant is a lot stronger. So here you have pain absorption, which when you pop it, it gives you resistance like you saw earlier for the dwarf stance in this. So there's a bunch of different stuff. This demon stance is all about condition damage. It's all about literally conquering all the like casters and stuff like that in the game. So that's pretty much what you get out of all this stuff right here. All right, and then you have unyielded anguish, which I used on her earlier, but I'll use it again. And if she stands in this, it builds up. So if she starts moving to chase me, she's gonna take so much damage. Look at that. Look at that. And it's really cool for group fights and AoEing mobs down in dungeons and stuff like that. So let's go back to the assassin stance. The assassin stance is pretty, I would say that this stance is more for power or purely PvP in situations like that, but other people would disagree. But it's literally catered to just, you know, assassinating people, and it does a really good job of that. You even get quickness, as you get seen right there, and not impossible odds, iframe right here, which makes it almost impossible for people to hit you when you go into that, and it's a really low cooldown. So, and also you have a teleport right here that makes your skills unblockable. Now once I get up again, I will actually show you that. So you can hit your 6 to get all your shards out. So you have 6 shards right here, and each time you attack something, they're going to do damage. Now they are doing about 800 something damage per shard. So we're going to teleport to her, unblockable, then we're going to use our 3. That's it. And we can press 9 to, I guess, auto attack for a second, because the sword auto attack is really nice. And it's really nothing she can do. And also, you can switch stances, but if someone's down and you do 2 of those and just run away, it's over. There's nothing they can really do. So that's it for Revenant, guys. Hey, what's up, guys? We're going to be talking about the Herald for a little bit. The Herald Elite Specialization weapon is the shield. You can combo the shield with, I guess, a number of things, but the best is the sword, in my opinion. Now, remember, I'm not going to be going over builds in this video. I'm just going to be kind of giving you a general rundown of the actual class. So here you have the Herald, and the cool thing about the Herald is you don't need to worry about like boons or anything like that, because you can just permanently have the boons that you want. Now you can keep 3 of them running, so it makes it really good when you're doing like map completion, because you can have permanent swiftness up, you can have permanent fury up, and you can have some might running. You don't really need the might, but I guess it does help. And also you can reactivate these skills to actually do damage, and I will show you that right now. And as you can see, this damage that I just did to her is purely from the skills. Now we're going to activate this, and we're going to heal. So the weapon is a shield, which is really cool, and your number 3 when you have the sword is invincibility frame, so you really can't be hit in it. And when you press E double times, you can actually, you know, buff yourself up really good. It's really nice. It is actually one of my more favorited specs. All right, there we go. I almost died there. Wasn't paying attention, but as you can see, we can put this up, and now we have permanent regeneration. It's just going to keep doing that. And let me see. Intervals all incoming damage to healing. Okay. So when we use this skill again, Infuse Light, it's going to heal us for all the damage we receive, and it's kind of like R5, because R5 kind of does the same thing as well. I'll try to hit her and see if we can show this off real fast. So see, she has me low. I'm gonna tap it again now, and as you can see, the damage that she does actually healed me. And we just downed her, and we heal herself with our shield 4, and then go into shield 5, and she can't even do damage to us. throw this over her, and that's a done deal. We can like literally run away, and it's really cool because we can do stuff like this in PvE as well. So this isn't a PvP you know, only thing. I'm just showing you guys the skills of the actual class, and this is one of my favorite elite specializations just for that. Now, you can pair this elite specialization with a lot of things, but it's mostly power. It's viable in raids, it's viable in fractals and all that stuff. Herald is actually one of my favorite to run around with. I know I keep saying that, whatever, but it is, because, you know, I don't know if you guys ever ran around in a party before and been the one left behind because you didn't have, like, you know, what is this called? Swiftness, you know? And it's just really good to always be running at this speed. And then when you get in trouble, you can double E and get buffed up with just about like everything, you know. And I'll show the elite right here. The dragon, it pushes people back and does a lot of damage, PvP and PvE. And also you have these other skills, but this skill, let's see. So he actually, well, he didn't do it there, but I was going to show you guys the block on this, which is really cool. And this is the Herald. And the Herald you get with Heart of Thorns. Yes. So if you guys enjoyed this, stay tuned for the next one. So here we go on the Renegade, and let's try to ignore Ronald McDonald down there. But the Renegade is really cool for group support, as well as single target, you know, condition damage. And they do a lot of AoE condition damage. Let's do later. And I'm going to show you guys some of this already, but I've already made a video about Renegade, so most of you guys have probably already seen this. But that's really cool. And then this is probably the coolest thing about Renegade is your legendary stance for Renegade actually calls out these guys, and these guys are like group support. And as you can see, they put out a lot of damage. This one buffs everyone, so your auto attacks do bleed, and you just throw this in your party, and as your party attacks, I'll show you right here, you see I'm adding a lot more bleed than normal. So imagine 5 people, 6 people in your party getting buffed by this. It's a lot of single target damage. Now let me see if I can show you without it. So you still have some really good bleed, right? It seems like it's maxing out at about 6 bleeds, right? Now let's try it on this guy now with this out. So as you can see, we're already past 6. We're already up to 10, 11, 12. And so we're pretty much doubling our bleed damage. Now imagine that being spread to everyone on your party. Now there's some of these you don't really use a lot, like this one. It only attacks one target. It's kind of like it goes around, like you see, it's just not very good. Maybe it's good for a power build, but I haven't tried out a power build for the Renegade yet, although I hear that it's really good. This one's stability to the team, so you guys know what stability is. Stability can be really good for a lot of things, and also it does some good damage, but I'm pretty sure that damage is adjacent to power. So then you have your last dance, and this is kind of like your bleed, your razor claw, where it adds on to your auto attacks, but this one does siphon life. Now let's see. So doesn't do any damage, just a buffer. Boom, he latches onto you, and then you just throw out a bunch of damage and get a bunch of life leech from it. And as you guys can see, the freaking condition damage of this spec is really crazy. Now you can play this spec power, although I never played it power before. Actually, I'm probably going to try that in the future. I might like it a lot better, but as you guys can see, that it does not lack in damage whatsoever. So in the fractals or in raids, you're gonna have a lot of fun, especially in AoE scenarios where you're just laying waste to everything, right? And here you have your heal, and it also puts a buff on everyone that kind of reduces condition damage. And pretty much while this thing is up, your whole group it's just like taking no damage from, you know, conditions damage over time. effects, right? So if you have these two, which are your melee buffs, not melee buffs, but you know, they kind of do melee, they kind of do physical damage and also give you some other benefits. Like the best thing about this one, let me throw her out for a second, is that in a single target situation, she will, look at that, she'll put a crap load of vulnerability on them, and she's getting some torment out there, which is absolutely fine. I never tried to combo her with anything like Razor Claw or something like that. Let's actually try that right now and see who she attacks. See if they're getting any bleeds. They actually got a little bit of bleeds, but like I said, it's good for the vulnerability. Now that I think about it, I overlooked that. And then you have your belt skills, which are really cool. And I think one of these is like a alacrity or something like that. So it like reduces the cooldowns of your skills. It's just a really good support class. So if you guys like this class, definitely don't hesitate to play it. And the Revenant is, you can't even get the Revenant unless you have Heart of Thorns. And also the Renegade is a Path of Fire expansion character as well. So let's go check out the next character.